I'm here with Larry Wall for a deck side chat for the Druids. Happy to have Larry out here. We're going to talk a little bit about the Lynn Davies Rugby Park and some future plans. So there's a lot going on. In a few years, there's plans to essentially move the clubhouse and shift it a little bit. So we'll let Larry talk a little about that and explain why. So Larry, tell us why we need to do this.
Well, Dennis, first of all, thanks for setting up this opportunity to explain things to the membership. You might recall that little over a year ago, we did a survey of the membership to see what their interest was in sustaining our presence here at Lynn Davies Rugby Park. And overwhelmingly, we got support to say not only stay, but keep the number of fields and do whatever deal we have to with the province so we can continue in this great location. And we did that. We formed a task force and we worked with the province, came to a mutual understanding of the importance of the pipeline corridors here for the economic development of Alberta, not only our region, but Alberta. These pipelines are critical to that development. And we've always known that that these pipelines and this corridor that was purchased by the government in the 70s and the 80s has a primary purpose for accommodating power lines, pipelines, water, sewer infrastructure, municipal infrastructure. So we've kind of in the back of our minds knew that at one point in time this would affect us. And of course now it's come to pass. And we have filled up the space to the west of us with pipelines. And the province has indicated that the next pipeline that would come forward as an application, their preference for routing it will be obviously in parallel with the previous pipelines to make the best use of the space, and will require the space that the clubhouse sits on. Now, this was a big shock for us. So we went through a very long, thoughtful process working with McElhenney consultants, architectural consultants, and we've come up with a new site plan. And that site plan gives us the opportunity to site the clubhouse effectively just behind us here, what we call Field 4. It's in the midst of the east and southern field. And we would expect to have a clubhouse that not only spans beside a field, but would have direct observation and spectator stands outside of the clubhouse and the deck overlooking a feature field. I think this is a huge opportunity for the club. One, it upgrades our presence here. Two, it assures the province that we are flexible enough to that they can accommodate us as a secondary use of the TUC. And it's very important. They did not buy this for sports fields. They bought it for economic development. And we can't disagree with that. So what we're trying to do now is put in place the cornerstones for us to be able to move this clubhouse, and they expect us to do that in the next 5 years. That's kind of the division would be 4 fields in the future with a renewed clubhouse or brand new clubhouse, depending upon the resources that we can garner for this, overlooking a feature field that'll be of an international standard. This is an exciting opportunity. That clubhouse will expand the current functions. It's not going to be oversized in the wrong ways as the existing one is, recognizing that we've taken this over from the Edmonton Gun Club. This facility was designed to accommodate their needs. We've adapted the facility to suit as well as we can to the rugby program, but we've never had a facility that is actually designed around the rugby club needs. And the new facility will be that. It'll be sited in such a way, and the best example I can use that people might be familiar with is St. Albert Rugby Club. We've also looked at other examples across the world that are similar to this. The one we actually found and we're using as our our artistic rendering of this is a vision that the Kamloops Rugby Club had. And it is a beautiful vision, and I would hope that to be able to share that over the coming months for people to get an idea around what we're trying to do here.
Perfect. Well, with that then, how do we get to that point? How do we get to the point where we've got the funding to be able to move the clubhouse? We've got that new kind of grand vision of how it's going to look. Like you said, that international standard. How do we get there?
Well, I think the big thing, of course, is we have to gravitate around our site plan. And then we have to raise the money that's necessary to implement that site plan. The site plan in itself, working with the architectural consulting group, we've identified not only relocating the facility of the clubhouse, but the change rooms and ultimately the maintenance functions. And then that will cause us to have to realign some of the fields and develop a little bit of new area. That whole plan is about a $1.6 to $1.9 million plan. What's critical for us in the next 5 years is the clubhouse relocation, as I've mentioned. And that project is around a $900,000 project. In fact, some of the members may have seen recently a Facebook post of an article that was in the Sherwood Park News. And we have applied for federal community revitalization funding to the tune of $900,000. But that requires us to put up at minimum 25% of the total funding. Other grants that will come along in the future may be the Community Facility Enhancement Program of the province. That'll require us to put up 50% funding. Bottom line is, all of that's within our reach, but we have to activate the membership. We have to activate the community behind this. These projects have been done by other organizations, and we have the opportunity to implement it here ourselves. I think what's really important is that the people that see this message, the people that will see our future messages, grab onto the idea of supporting the culture that they've experienced here at the Lynn Davies Rugby Park, and how did you call it? Play that forward.
Play it forward.
Play it forward for the future generations of rugby that are here. We see now, from my generation that first started playing on this field, to the kids that we have brought through the junior programs. Your dad, Jack Thompson, and others that contributed to the junior program back in the 90s and early 2000s, to the people running the junior program today. And what we see now is the children of the children who played for the Druids and for the Outlaws Rugby Club. And what we want to do is to have the children of these children who are playing here today playing at Lynn Davies Rugby Park at one of the best facilities that'll be in Western Canada.
So yeah, that kind of gets into one of the things I was going to ask about is obviously how we get there. We need funding, we need support. But yeah, that ultimate goal and what it actually does for that next generation of, rugby players, athletes, club members, just talk about your experience with that scene, your own kids grow up in the rugby club and why you're so involved in trying to help, as I say, play it forward.
Right, yes. Well, very first thing I think we need to talk about, how do we get what's the amount of money we're trying to raise here, and how do we get there? And that becomes a stepping stone to achieve all of the the future opportunity stuff. So in this first phase of moving the clubhouse, and I've identified that we applied for funding at the tune of about $900,000. Let's just use that as the basis of it. We expect that about $450,000 should be our target for that. If we're able to be super optimistically, if we get 75% funded by the federal government, that certainly reduces the amount. But they may not fund to 75%. And the other programs are all 50% in granting programs. So we look at this as our target is about $450,000 for the first phase. We believe that about $200,000 of that can come from the community overall, whether it be from foundations, from corporate donations, from other granting programs, basically non-member sorts of sources. But we are looking to our membership and alumni community to raise about $250,000. And so we have just signed off here in the last week on an agreement with the Canadian Rugby Foundation, so that we are now in a position where we can provide tax receipts to all of the donors. We'll be setting up a program that's aimed towards allowing for contributions of up to $25,000 and more, down to contributions of $250,000 a year. We really want to get people tied into, it's 250 doesn't sound like that much, but 25,000 sounds off the end of the scale for some. But there are people who can afford some of that. And the key thing that we want to do is to not look at it as a one lump sum. It's like it's like paying off your mortgage. You do it in little chunks. So we hope to set up programs where people can make lump sum contributions for their tax benefit, and various people will find themselves in different stages of their life that they'll be able to do a lot or a little of that. But equally as much for people to make smaller contributions over a longer period of time. Over 5 years, somebody putting in $25 is going to add up to over $2,000. That's, well, maybe not that much, but whatever it is.
There's the math guy here.
The over 10 years then.
Yeah.
But what it does is it enables us not only to raise funds for this, but 10% of all of the funds until we get finished phase 1 will stay in as an ongoing endowment to support rugby growth in the future. So anyway, those programs are coming up, Dennis. I think people can make the connection between allowing us to continue in this fabulous location that we have here, connected to the community of Sherwood Park, to the eastern side of Edmonton, and right off of the Anthony Henday, that allows competitive teams easy access to our facility, allows people from anywhere in the Edmonton, greater Edmonton region to access the club, because this is the club of their choice. And we see that where almost 20% of our members are not from Edmonton or Strathcona County. They're from other areas around Edmonton because they like the club and the access is good.
Right on. So just to confirm, if people are wanting to get involved a little bit right now, who can they contact? How can they reach out and say, you know, I want to help support the project?
Well, currently I'm kind of chairing our task force, so they can reach out to me and to Jack Thompson, who we are kind of shoulder to shoulder in so much of this sort of stuff. And they can reach us both through the facilities at druidsrfc.com. You can go to the website and see that contact if you forget it. But that's where we gravitate all of the information on this. And I would hope over the next month to 2 months that we're going to be able to distribute the program, the fundraising program, and the opportunities out to the membership. And I'm also hoping that we'll have a little bit of a display here at the club as to what this vision looks like, and some information about how people can get involved. We need not only resources, but we need people to commit their time. And there's a number of key functions that we'll be looking to ask people to get involved in. And if there's any enthusiasm at all out there, I would love to talk to people about it. They can also call us. I'm not certain if our number's on the website or not, but nevertheless, my phone number is 780-862-1200. They can certainly give me a call. Send the emails, probably the best way, and we'll get people involved. This is an exciting opportunity over the next 5 years for us, and we're not going to drop this ball.
Yeah, no,
there's no knock-ons in this game.
This is a real important project, and if you got silky hands like Larry, you won't knock it on. So I think at the end of the day, for those looking to get involved, I'll include a link that goes with this, but yeah, it's that emails to facilities@druidsrfc.com. Lots of exciting stuff moving forward. If you're interested in learning more about the project, contact Larry as well, or Jack. And again, this is a big part of, like I say, playing it forward. A lot of us have benefited in the past from not just the participation in rugby, but being part of the rugby family, the club atmosphere, and all that. And it makes such a big difference in the lives of many in our rugby program. So, and those who have been through it. So, yeah, Larry, thanks for joining and talking a little bit about, the project and what we need to do to get things going. And yeah, if anyone's interested in getting involved, contact Larry. All right, we've got alumni chat. I've got Mark Coons with me here. He's, a stalwart from the Druids back in the 90s, 2000s era, and, gave a lot of people work over the years too. So, Mark, welcome. I feel so weird calling you that, but yeah, Coonsy, welcome to the show.
Nice to be here. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on, and let's just get started with the good stuff. So, I mean, you're a Saskatchewan boy, hailed from the province to the east, and then made your way over west eventually. And how did Mark Coons end up playing rugby?
Yeah, that's a good question. So a good buddy of mine, I used to work at the General Hospital with him, Kyle Androschuk. He's a Druid legend from way back when, and he was always talking about how much fun it was. He went on the Australia tour, which would have been in '89, I think, and he had a lot of fun. And so anyway, he's quit playing rugby a couple years later, something like that. And I was working out at Commonwealth, and the guys were playing touch inside there. It was like winter. It was like the winter training thing. And George Fairbairn was there. So this would have been, I don't know, January, something like that. And George is there with all the guys and stuff. And I go up to him. I'm like, is it too late to join? And he's like, no, come on in. So next Sunday night I was there just playing touch with the guys and just kind of met everybody. And it was, had a great time. And man, it's been, so what is that? How many years ago was that? Is it 30 years? How's your math, Dennis?
Well, what year did you start?
That was like 92.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm embarking on that. So pretty close.
Yeah.
What was it like when you actually went from that winter sort of indoor training touch atmosphere to getting into your first game? What position did they put you in? Were you always a second row right from the start? How did that go?
Oh yeah, second row right from the start. So my first training, my first practice, I remember spraining my ankle in indoor training, and first outdoor practice, I was holding a bag, and Gerald comes in like nice and low and just crack. I broke my ankle the very first training there. I remember. So that would have been 92 there, and then. Geez, I played old boys. I didn't have a clue. Like I played old boys probably the first year, and that's a great start for somebody who is new to the game. The guys that just really took me in and totally took care of me, and I was second row, right from the start, right? And then you move your way up. You play a lot of thirds. I got a little bit of twos. I probably played a few games for the ones. It's an honor. Hey, Dickie said that. He says it's an honor to reserve for the ones, eh? And it's true. So that's the highest level in our club. And I was fortunate enough to play a few games there. And a lot of fun, a lot of work, a lot of laughs. I can't believe it's been decades since I started. Yeah,
and you played till you saved yourself, and you did pretty good in terms of longevity.
The secret to my success, okay, what changed my game, boosting in the line out. It saved me.
You started boosting others.
No, I was getting boosted.
Okay. I was like, okay.
That's when I started getting some ball, finally.
There you go.
The line outs.
Yeah. Just go up there, durable hands, Mark Coons, and then it was all good.
It took a while. I always had a decent push in the scrum, though, so that's probably what helped me out, too. So second row is all utility. That's all. You try to make a few tackles, okay, and then you push in the scrum as hard as you can, and you got to come down with that line-out ball, too. Good hooker helps, too. Very important.
So did you ever want to venture off into other positions, or were you pretty satisfied with second row? No,
I was well, where are you going to put me? You know what I mean? Could I flank? I don't think so. Anything in the back row? I doubt it. You know what I mean?
Full back.
Yeah, full back. It's funny. A guy like Liam, he could have played second row. He could have played in the forwards too, hey? But he had good hands and a lot of skill. So sometimes the taller guys go out with the backs, eh? But me, I was second row forever. There was one game, me and Dennis, Gallagher was being very generous. So it was, was I standoff? No, Dennis, pardon me, Evan. It was me and Evan. It was probably like 10 and 11. And it was like maybe just a few plays. Like it was probably like a fourth division game even. Hey, Brad was being very charitable that day.
Oh Throw it out there and see what happens.
Oh yeah, no, there was overlaps and I was passing it out and it was just, oh no, I should not be out there. I'm very happy being a second row. That's my job.
So it's been 30 years roughly since when you started. What year did you actually play up to? So if you started in 92, you went until 2010 or a bit after, I'd imagine.
Yeah, a bit after. So I'm 52 now. So I've been out of the game for probably 10 years. It's amazing how fast the years go by when you're done. So I was probably playing early 40s.
Yeah. And I wish I could say the same about myself, but that's definitely not the case. But
I was super
kudos to you
fortunate
on
to play
that.
that long.
Yeah, no, it's great, and I mean, over that long of a period of playing, you obviously saw multiple generations come and go,
Yes.
and you got to be teammates with a lot of them. So, what was that like for you? Like, I mean, I remember coming in as this little yappy 19-year-old, and you know, Evan and we would see you guys, and I think you would have been 33 or 34 or whatever at the time, and I was like, oh, these guys are still playing. I could still play until I'm that old. And then now I realize just how like amazing it is you guys were able to kind of keep up with that at that age. But yeah. So what was it like for you actually being able to kind of play with multiple generations and, see people come and develop and yeah.
It's the best. It's nice trying to kind of mentor guys, you know what I mean, seeing as they come in. Look at a guy like Penner, you know what I mean, coming in as a raw rookie, and then you see him like just march his way all up through the divisions, playing with the ones and stuff like that. It's and that's just one of many, you know what I mean. It's the best. It's really cool. I could spend hours talking about all the different players coming up, and no, it's a good question. It's a joy to see, honestly. Working for the club, it's the best. It really is.
And you had some time as club president as well for a bit too.
Yeah. Working on the executive. Oh man, it's a ton of work. So if you get the opportunity, go for it. And Rose O'Donoghue put it the best. The first year, you got to do a couple years at your positions, because the first year you're just learning. Okay. And then so the second year, you know what you're doing. So you kind of just, you're a lot better at it and stuff. 3 years is the best too. I can't remember if I was president for 2 or 3 years. I know I was clubhouse. I did a year of that too. So, and that's a ton of work too. But the more time you spend on the executive, it gets easier. Hey, so, but it's a lot of work too. All the presidents, you look at all that, you look at the pictures on the club, a lot of hard work by a lot of guys, and everybody on the executive too. Hey, it's not just the president, of course. Hey, like it's secretary, VP rugby. You need everybody working together. It's a ton of work.
For sure. Ton of work, but at the same time, there's some benefits that come out of it too, right? So just in terms of new experience, working on a board, anything like that, networking, relationships, how did you kind of find that aspect of it?
Oh, it's the best. You put your fingerprint on your stamps on the club. You know what I mean? You're helping to grow the club for the next generations. You know what I mean? People kind of look at you a little bit different when you're on the executive. They know you're working really hard for the club, and not everybody joins, but it's that the few percentage that actually get to go on the executive. It's your work's greatly appreciated, like you can tell.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get back into your playing days a little bit. So, like we kind of talked about, you'd seen a lot of different demographics kind of come and go, and a lot of different people from imports to locals and whatnot. And I'll just ask you a few questions and tell me the first person that comes to your mind.
Yeah.
So who was the fastest teammate you ever played with?
Oh boy, that's crazy. The fastest. Oh my God, it's got to be a back. Who's the fastest? I'm stumped. You got me. I wouldn't know. Oh, maybe Yard Ape. Probably.
Who?
Chad Moore.
Okay.
You ever heard that nickname or no?
Never heard the nickname, but yeah, no. Chad was quick. He could move. Like, yeah. So, all right. Who had the slickest hands?
Best hands, hey? Holy cow. That's got to be in the backs as well, too. Geez. Millsy? Who do you think?
Slickest hands? I don't know. It's tough to say.
That's a hard, after all the guys in the backs, hundreds of guys.
There's lots of good backs over the years. And I think of some guys like, there's Brownie, there's Stu, there's some guys had some good slick moves at 10.
Those are two really good ones right there.
Yeah. And that was probably from my day. Like I really remember them. And Even some guys from junior days, like when I was playing, like Matt Chinsky and some of those guys.
Oh yeah, awesome
They
athlete.
had pretty good hands, but
Yeah,
so,
for sure. He's a good athlete, that kid. The game has evolved so much too over the years, So I think it's just become a lot more fluid, since the 90s.
So you're 0 for 2 right now in terms of the questions that I'm asking you, but so we'll keep it in the forwards for you then.
Yes, please.
Who was the best scrummager you had ever seen?
The best scrummager, hey? For power, I really liked Owen. Owen was strong.
Dawkins?
Yeah, he's awesome. Really good. For technique, I thought Lindsay was actually pretty good. He could really get in there. I hear really good things about Jordan Allers. He was like, for technical, he would be in a bad spot and he could just turn the guy and just have his opposite just screaming, hey. So, front rows, I guess we're talking about, For
for usually, I mean, when you think about that, it's often front row, but let's, you're in the second row. Who do you want next to you?
Oh God, Simon Newman. Yeah. So Harlequins, you know what I mean? Like, so I was fortunate to be, that's the thing. So you may not play with these guys with the first ones and twos all the time, but like, that's the great thing about practice. I enjoyed practices. I loved going to trainings. Like I would miss 2 practices a year. Hey, so you learn so much in the trainings with these guys. Hey, so for second row is you're right there on the field running with the guy who used to play with the Quins. Like it doesn't get any better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So second row, I love Simon Newman. Joe Johnson was awesome too. Conrad, great hands. Jeez, a lot of good locks on the club.
Yeah.
Back rows like Luis, just like incredible. You know what I mean? God, that guy, like unreal.
He was one of the best athletes I've seen.
Oh, awesome. Guys like Roberge in the back row. Look at McKinnon, right? Still just like top caliber for years and years and years. Hookers, Gaza, just like I played a twos game in St. Albert once with Gaza, and just like Joe Johnson was boosting me at the back of the line out, and man, I was getting such good air. It was crazy. And Gaza put it right in my hands every time. So, Donnie Hamill, very good hooker as well too.
Yeah. Got around the pitch really well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And okay, for your lifters, who is the most generous and who did you not like lifting?
Oh my God. Joe Johnson was like that one game in St. Albert. Joe Johnson boosted me at the back. I would just so it was just the one booster. He was behind me. So I just kind of jumped back as hard as I could. And he put me up there. Very strong guy. Who else? Bill. What was his last name? Oh, that's going to bug me. He played with Lindsay for a bit there too, like in the mid 2000s. Hey, he was really good. Guys who couldn't or didn't. There's this one kid from McNally,
or maybe aggressive.
Oh, yeah, no, that's exactly it. This kid, strong McNally kid. He would put me up there almost by himself, but he would bring me down just as quick. And, oh my God, yeah. I got balsa wood ankles, so you could just think they took a pounding.
So second row, you're up in the air. Do you want to come down with the ball or do you want to toss it?
Whatever coach wanted. In training, Brent wanted me to bring it down. Some guys could just get the one hand on it and bring it down. I think for the best kind of play, to keep the ball moving, if you can turn and give it to the scrum half, because the plays, depends what you want to do. If you want to bring it in and maul, with the Druids a mauling team, sometimes, you know what I mean? It depends, just whatever the coach wants, man. Forward coach or head coach, whatever they want to do. Do your best and listen, because you want to keep playing.
Yeah, for sure. All right, best rugby road trip.
Oh, road trip? It's got to be any of those ones. During my playing days, going up to Fort Mac and Grand Prairie was just absolute legendary, man. A lot of those Jasper Sevens trips, those are just fantastic. It's the first ones of the year. Guys get to know each other. Those are special trips, just like some really good ones there too.
Yeah, Jasper Sevens, let's talk about that a little bit. So, I mean, obviously it's a fun time going to Jasper. Like, you don't know if it's just going to be covered in snow. You don't
Yeah.
know if the weather's going to be nice. You could literally play rugby and ski in the same day some years.
Yeah.
But I mean, just getting there, it's a great way to kind of bond with your new teammates. So why don't you just talk about that a little bit?
You can't really, it's a fun tourney, but you can't make any mistakes because you're going to get exposed. So me, I'm a 15. I love to watch sevens. I like to play a little bit, but sevens it's a hard game, man. You got to be really smart.
It's tough. Whole different kind of fitness too.
Yeah, 100%.
And not the easiest for your first game, like kind of tournament of the season, right?
Yeah. Start of the year. Yeah, no kidding.
Always tough that way, but it's always fun, and you finish off at the B, and it's all good.
Yeah, great times there too.
Yeah, no, love going to Jasper with the teammates and getting to meet the newcomers. It's always fun. So, all right, so I mean, there's obviously you've had a strong career. What kind of games or moments as a Druid would be some of your biggest highlights?
Oh, it's got to be some of the playoff games for sure. Brent made me captain once in a second division game in Grand Prairie, and man, it was hard to win up there. I remember the Twos did it a couple years ago, and I was just like thrilled for him. So that game we were playing up there, we were only down by a try at the half, and I think were we short? I'm not too sure. That's a thing, hey. So playoff times, like there's lots of years we had 1s, 2s, and 3s in the playoffs. So like you're thin. So I think the last Twos team to win provincials or anything serious was when George was playing. So I'd love for the club to get there again. Hey, just the Twos. It's Steve Fay said it the best. It's the most dangerous division. You got older guys coming down who know what they're doing, and you got the young studs coming up that are just ripping it up. So for the Druids and the Twos, it's I'd love to see them get that championship one of these days. I'm not sure if we have one in the past, but it's been far too long.
I mean, you're also known as a multi-sport athlete.
Oh no.
Soccer, hockey. Let's talk about that a little bit. So
sure.
You were a true champion of the Druids and the social and the club culture aspect of everything. And in saying that, like, you were one of the first ones to put your hands up to say, yeah, I'll do this. And one of those moments was, yeah, I've got goalie pads. I'll be the goalie for the Druids hockey team. So, what went through your head when you said you were going to do that?
What went through my head when I volunteered? Not too much. Okay. Why didn't you guys tell me it would be so hard? Okay. I remember played a couple of games as a teenager and just like, I don't know, I must have had maybe the guys in the team were helping me out. Okay. So it's a technical position. I know a lot more about it now that I've played a few games. Okay. So, but that first year, you guys really should have pulled the plug on me. You didn't. And I learned a lot from it, but man, that's the hardest thing I've ever done. That's crazy, but it's also the most fun too.
Hockey goalies are hard to come by, and so when you put up your hand, it was like, yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, that was a fun year. Like, it was just that first year back, I think we were like Div 10.
Oh yeah, no, and I had tons of support from you guys too, so it was the best, honestly.
Yeah, it was good fun. And then soccer, you played on Team Red Card. Talk about that a little bit, what you enjoyed about that.
So we're going to play a game, reunion tour is coming up in a couple of weeks here at the club, and I got my jersey, but I never kept a T-shirt. We had red jerseys.
Eventually,
I really wish I would have kept the T-shirts. The favorite part about them was all the nicknames we put on them, and like nine out of 10 of them were too small for whoever was wearing. So, Team Red Card, I love.
Some context for those who don't know what we're talking about here. Back in probably early mid 2000s, a bunch of us got together, went into like Div 10 soccer, indoor soccer in the off season. And for jerseys, we just bought white cotton T-shirts and just drew on them with a felt marker. So, and then name bars were, quite the laugh, I guess. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, keep going?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. My favorite was just whenever somebody would bring the rugby ball out for our warm-ups, and just some of the looks, some of the looks we would get. That was a ton of fun. And the fans too. Geez, like Mr. Rasmus, this guy could not wait for those games. Holy cow, super fan.
He was a Team Red Card super fan, 100%. Definitely in the Team Red Card Alumni Hall of Fame. But
100% for sure, he's the guy. Like, but that's obviously anything with soccer is going to be good. But we had a pretty good team.
Yeah, we did. We had some good players, and like I remember too, some of the other teams didn't like us so much, and they thought we were a little physical. But then the league came out, watched us. They're like, no, you guys just play hard. Like, you're not doing anything cheap. Yeah. I mean, there was probably the odd thing here or there, but yeah, I don't know. It was a fun season, and that was one of my favorite rugby experiences, was actually playing soccer indoor with all of our rugby friends in the off season. And it was just such a good group. Tons of fun to be around.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
good
for
times.
Sure. So just for people who maybe haven't seen you in a while, let them know what you're up to, what's new with you, what's going on.
What's going on? I've been a fortunate guy my whole life. So with work, obviously work's important. This whole COVID thing, I've been working every day through it. You know what I mean? It hasn't really impacted our lives that much. My wife's a teacher, so she was working from home for a bit there, but she was working steady too. You know what I mean? So as you get older, raising a family and stuff, running a business, getting fitness is harder and harder and harder. Just trying to get back, trying to stay in good shape. Like bike rides, I used to cycle all the time. Now it's just like it's a chore to get out. Carlos Rivera, you see him on Facebook. He's always going for bike rides. I got to give him a call and see what his secret is. He's always doing stuff like that, but just going for a run or just it's the older you get, the longer you're away, the harder it is to kind of get back into it, man. So
instead of what you're doing, you're giving more advice to everyone.
Don't do what I do. Stay fit. Fitness is a huge part of rugby.
Oh, rugby, and I mean post rugby too, obviously.
Yeah, no, for sure.
To that, it's harder trying to coach little kids when you're not in the same shape you were once upon a time, even something like that. But yeah, so so just in terms of the club, you kind of talked about your, on-field memories and proud moments with that. If there's anything just specific to the club as a whole that you're really proud of, your involvement, what you did, the friends you made, and what that's like, it's kind of an open mic here, and that's how we like to close it off. And so,
yeah, all the tours, the Caymans tour was wonderful. The Sevens Caymans tour was wonderful. That was the club's first foray into professional rugby. We did pretty good too. I think we got the plate on the one side, so we didn't embarrass ourselves at all. That was professional rugby. It's really cool. All the tours, going on tours with the juniors is the best too. Hey, the security side of it, awesome. Just incredible fundraising for the club for years and years. So this is a security contingency. Big hats off to them. Like we all did it too, right? But right now, I got to say it's the minis. Seeing the minis just being so successful, it's the best. They're talking about a new clubhouse now. You know what I mean? It's sky's the limit for us. Things look really, really good.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks a lot for joining. Appreciate it. And for those of you looking to get in touch with Mark Coons, you can look up in the yellow pages.
Oh no,
Hardbark Finishing.
Two
at
A's.
The very front. You'll see him right there. Business strategy.
100%, man. Make some money.
Right on. Okay, thanks for joining, Mark.
Dennis, thanks for doing this, bud. Take it easy, okay?
Yeah.
Awesome, pal.